So Sam, tell me, what's it like to grow up at Beth Shalom?
Well, I think growing up at Beth Shalom, there's really no community like ours, and I think the people here and the culture here has really shaped me into the person I am today. Oh, well, I love being a bar mitzvah tutor because I really I love all the stuff that you get to do at your bar mitzvah. I love leading services. I love leading Torah. I feel a joy in passing that on to the next generation. I like seeing the joy that they take in learning from me. That's really part of the foundation of Judaism for a lot of kids here.
So before you guys were even born, Mom and I used to like to come here every Shabbat. Because you get to sit in a room full of your friends, you get to check in and see if everybody's okay, who isn't. You keep track of the annual cycles, you keep track of everybody's birthdays and bar mitzvahs, you watch the kids grow up.
So Dad, why do we sit in the front row?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. For one thing, it began when you were a brand new baby, and we would carry you into shul in a little bucket from the car and sit you down. And over to the left-hand side, there was nobody sitting in the front row, and there was room to put you down, so we started sitting over there. We noticed that hardly ever does anybody pick out to sit in the front row, and those front row seats were always available. So we moved from the left to the center and discovered that we like it. And as you know, we now get to sit there and we can see everybody's shoes when they walk up. We get to check on the Hagbah. We get to dress and undress the Torah if they need any help. And we get to sit right next to whoever is leading and sing with them, which really is the point of being here on Shabbat, is to get to sing in a room full of Jews. That's the pleasure. Our lives unfold here. It's a very special place.
I moved to Seattle because my grandson and his wife had a lovely baby girl. I have to tell you, I was much impressed with the Rosh Hashanah baby service. My granddaughter-in-law told me that, she came the first day and she said, "You got to come down the second day. It's just too good to miss." The very first time I came to Congregation Beth Shalom, to a Shabbos morning, I was just awed. This congregation looks to all kinds of people and all kinds of colors and things to welcome people in. I was drawn to Jewish education because I really wanted to be a rabbi, but I was born too soon. When I came, I thought I was going to have a nice, quiet Jewish life, just kind of sit back. But apparently my grandchildren outed me to the rabbi. That was her word. And she met me at the door and said, "Your grandchildren outed you. What are you going to do?" And that's when I did the Devar Torah on the second day of Pesach. It's traditional between Pesach and Shavuos to study Pirkei Avot. And Beth Shalom sponsored and organized a series of Shabbos afternoon and early Shabbos evening meetings, study groups at different people's houses. And that way I not only got to study Pirkei Avot, but I got to meet lots of different people. What I'd like to tell Congregation Beth Shalom is each and every congregant should just be thankful that they're in such a lovely environment, in such a lovely place where ideas are vibrant and different, and people don't stand in judgment, and you have two great rabbis. I find this congregation embracing, warm, interesting. I really like this congregation.
I met David in Israel. We met through a mutual friend in New York. We had good friends in New York, and they came to visit in Israel. And I was a student in Jerusalem, and I showed them Jerusalem in my eyes. It's my favorite city in Israel. The husband of my friend said to his friend David in Seattle, "When you go to Israel, you have to meet this wonderful friend of my wife. and she showed you Jerusalem. It came right out of her heart, and that's how we met. He came to Israel and called, and I answered the phone, and I said, I'm in Jerusalem, going to be in the weekend, and we met that way, and just made for each other. So I call home, and I said, I'm getting married. So my father said it to my mom, and then he says to my mom, here's he's getting married, and my mom fainted. In Israel, we had a Jewish wedding. There's a funny story. David, his friend, was a big producer in Hollywood, and he came once with a crew to film the the big explosion of Mount St. Helens. And they took David on the helicopter, and then they had too much equipment. They said, okay, what are we going to do? And David says, drop me. And they drop him on the top of Mount St. Helens for 4 hours, all by himself. And he loved that. Always going hiking, coming back, usual. Got a knock on the door. Actually, my door was open. I got the rabbi and Elaine Schachter came in. The worst days of my life and the most incredible days of my life. The amount of love and community that I saw on my step door is undescribable. Never imagined the support and the love that we're going to get from this very place.